I'm going to risk sounding weird and go out on a limb and say that a lot of the issues and diseases and mental health issues and things that we see nowadays are spiritual. I was telling a buddy of mine the other day that I thought seizures were spiritual. And one of the guys that was in the conversation with us was like, but is it? And I was like, yes, most of the time that you see some seizures happening, there's some type of demonic activity happening around those. And it's just like with depression and anxiety, especially schizophrenia. That is demonic. Anytime you're hearing voices or anything like that, that's demonic. And Rashad breaks it down so well in this video because he suffered with all this stuff. So listen to this and we'll be right back.
I want to know the truth a lot of people don't want to hear. Depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, and I've been diagnosed with all three of them. And before then, I was one of them people at one point in time. I'm like, depression not real, anxiety not real. All that stuff is not real, it's all a mental thing. And I was a person be thinking depression, oh, this is just a trend or whatnot. And don't get me wrong, some people do use depression and anxiety just because it sounds good, but when you speak that stuff over your life, you coming into agreement with it. It's a spiritual thing, bro. It's spiritual. A lot of people that go through spiritual awakenings are people who battle with mental issues, because it is mental issues, but it stems from the spirit. You're going through spiritual torment. That's why you hear them voices that are not your thoughts, telling you to do stuff, telling you to off yourself, you know, having you in this dark cloud, having you real anxious. That's a spirit of anxiety and a spirit of fear. You're being tormented by demons, and a lot of these hospitals, they know exactly what's going on. Some of them are still into the matrix to where they don't even understand. They just know what they study, but they don't really know what's going on a spiritual or divine level. But yeah, whenever I have my spiritual awakening, mind you, I don't have a history of nothing. I'm not even allergic to anything. But whenever I had a spiritual awakening and I started to go through tormentation, you know, the depression, anxiety, and more so schizophrenia, I knew that it was a spiritual thing, right? I knew it was a spiritual thing. And I knew the only thing that could, at the time, that could, or at least I thought that could get me out of it, was just me just looking at it on a spiritual level. But that just wasn't enough. There's a higher power that frees you from that, right? And I think I know where I'm going with this, but this is true. You ain't gotta, look at it, you ain't gotta believe me. It is what it is. I'm a walking testimony. As somebody that was diagnosed with schizophrenia, depression, and anxiety, take it from me. And y'all couldn't even tell unless I told y'all, because, you know, that's what God do. God will put you, you'll go through something, you become that walking testimony. You'll become a walking testimony, you'll make it look good. You don't even look like the things that you've been through. But yeah, it's a spiritual thing, bro. That's why they treating y'all. That's why they give y'all medicine, because it's to get you hooked to the medicine so you don't have the ultimate remedy, the ultimate thing that can heal you from it. And then you put people in this mindset to feel like, then you put people in this, man, come on, man. Then you put people in this mindset to feel like they'll never be healed, or there's something that they just got to live with for the rest of their life, not knowing that's a demon that's over them, you know, that's getting more power when you speak these things over your life. You know, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I got anxiety, all this. You add more power to it, right? Because it's not impossible to get out of it. You just got to find the ultimate healer, you know, and that's Christ. You know, it's Christ that frees you. And these hospitals, they know that. A lot of these doctors that are into witchcraft, they understand that this is a spiritual thing. Because I had to go to the hospital. I was getting evaluated. I was in the centers and stuff, you know, amongst other people with other mental health issues. The only difference is I knew it was a spiritual thing the whole time. And all I did was put my trust in Christ and deliver me from it. I talked to a psychiatrist after I got out of the place that I was in. And hold on. I talked to a psychiatrist after being admitted out, after they discharged me. And he's just talking to me, and I'm just regular and everything, as I'm talking to y'all now. And he just told me just straight up, yeah, you know, we misdiagnosed you, you know. And I'm just like, dang. And I was the guy who would call people crazy. I'm the guy who would call, you know, judge people. And as I was going through the stuff that I would normally judge people about, I knew I wasn't crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm like, I see into the spirit world. I understand this is a spiritual thing, you know. And a lot of times people freak out. You know, that's why they can appear, you know, manic or crazy, because they don't know how to handle the spiritual warfare. But I knew how to handle the spiritual warfare, and God was guiding me. You know what I'm saying? It just took me trusting in Him and falling back on Him and leaning on Him to get out of it. But yeah, bro, I was diagnosed with all that stuff, bro. It's spiritual, bro. They want y'all to keep thinking, oh, you have to take meds, or it's a mental thing. We are mind, body, and soul. It starts from the soul. So everything that we go through starts from the spirit before anything. And then it displays outwardly. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're spirits with this human body, with this mind attached. It don't start from our mind, our conscious. And doctors know that. Because if doctors, think about it like this, if doctors looked at everything on a spiritual level, they would have to understand, they would have to find out what is the ultimate thing that can rid it, the spirit that they can rid it, and it's Jesus Christ. Y'all see what I'm saying, bro? So it's witchcraft, bro. It's to keep y'all in this matrix, bro. It's to make y'all believe, oh, it's a mental thing, or you got to deal with it, or there's no cure for it, or, you know, and they got y'all speaking this stuff over y'all life, man. And it's demonic tormentation. You're being tormented by unclean spirits. That's what it is. And you free from them chains. You free from the spirits with the Most High God, the Jesus Christ, His Father, Yahweh. That's the only way out, bro. So, yeah. I make schizophrenia look good, don't I? You know what I'm saying? Schizophrenia. Like, I knew I wasn't schizophrenic. I was being tormented, bro. That's all that is, bro. But you just got to put your trust in Christ.
And we were just talking about this morning in my discipleship. And, you know, the pharmacy industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the word pharmacy comes from pharmakia, which is a Greek word that literally means sorcery, guys. So like what he's saying here is that it's witchcraft. These pills and these diagnoses that they give you is just a way to monetize you. And they're monetizing demonization, guys. Let me say that again. They are monetizing demonization, and they're making billions of dollars each year, maybe even trillions, off of a person having demonic activity in their life. And instead of giving them the remedy, telling them you need Jesus, they're giving them pills that keep them bound. They fall into this belief that, oh, I'm just going to be a person that suffers with depression forever. But I got a homeboy that was in my last discipleship group, and he stopped taking his anxiety medication, his depression medication a few months back, and he started taking care of his health. He started getting into the gym. Now he's lost like 30 pounds. He's clear and level-headed. When I looked at him a few months back, he didn't look good. He didn't look like the light was in him. I had to check on him and make sure he was okay from time to time. But now when I see him, the light shines. You know, it's like you could see Christ moving in his life. He's taking better care of his health, and he's off the drugs, and he's doing better than he's ever done before. That's because Jesus is the ultimate healer, and we don't need not that I'm telling you to get off your meds if you're on them. That's not my call. What I'm saying is Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the remedy. Everything that we deal with that's spiritual, Jesus is the remedy to that spiritual thing. God can deliver you. When you look at Rashad, you don't see a man that struggles with depression or anxiety or schizophrenia. And it's just like Lazarus. When Lazarus was in the tomb and Jesus came and he called him from out of the tomb, a dead man came out looking like a mummy with the linen wrapped around him and everything. Smelly, you know, dead. But after Jesus brought him back to life, it shows them at a dinner table and they're eating. And Lazarus is clean. He doesn't smell like death. He doesn't look like death. He's fully alive. And that's the power of God's transformation power in your life. When you get cleansed by Jesus, you don't look the same. You don't walk the same. You don't talk the same. And therefore, you don't deal with the same demonic things that you used to deal with. Anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, you know, all those things have to go in Jesus' mighty name, guys. But I want to touch on something that he said real quick, because he kind of glazed over it. He said that, oh, once he was freed, they said we misdiagnosed you. But how many of you know that that's just a plan from the enemy just to cover their tracks? Because at the end of the day, guys, there is a agenda, right? There's an agenda out here from the powers that be to try to control us and manipulate us. Just like what happened with people that was taking the jab. They was like, oh, you know, I have to do this because I'm told to, or I get fired from my job. And I didn't take it. And that's just a control tactic that they have out there. I mean, I'm not going to get too deep off into that type of thing, because then you get to sounding like a conspiracy theorist. But I do want to say, guys, that everything has a root. So anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, everything, it all has a root. And you got to pray to the Lord to help you diagnose where that root started at. What event happened in your life to where you got this oppression from, this activity in your life. That way you can uproot it in Jesus' mighty name and walk in victory. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Leave it with a like on your way out the door. Let me know what you thought in the comment section. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, God bless.